Hi everyone, welcome to Mom Talk. My name is Christine Altos, and every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I come live to you and interview moms who have a story that you can relate to. This is round two. I have deleted the first one, but this is round two because my internet was not working the greatest. So I appreciate all of your patience. All right. There we go. All right.
Here we go.
Thankfully,
Okay.
I have enough data.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who keeps coming on and off, on and off.
Yes, I totally appreciate everybody's patience and willing to keep coming on, but I think we got this figured out now. And yeah, so like I was saying in the first video, unfortunately I did delete it because there's no sense having all these videos up there. But the reason why I started Mom Talk was because I truly believe moms have a story that other moms need to hear because we can relate to them. It lifts our spirits up. It actually makes us realize that we're real and the things that we deal with are not just our own, but other women can relate to us. So almost a year ago, I started doing Mom Talks live right here on Facebook. And today, my guest is Evelia, and I'm so excited that you get to hear her story because I know she's going to bring some hope. She's going to bring you some encouragement, and most of all, she's going to empower you because she has this natural sense about her that just lifts up other women. And I'm so excited that she gets to be here today and share that all with you. So thank you, Evelia, for being here on Mom Talk.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you, Christine, for thinking that I have something worthy to share. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing Mom Talk because I know it's scary. It's scary to put yourself on video and we could see ourselves after videotaping and am I going to say the right thing? Is what I'm going to say be interesting? And you're just doing it consistently every week to make a difference in the lives of other women. And that's awesome because I know how difficult that is to make that kind of commitment and to follow through. So thank you for doing this for us. And thank you to everyone who's on watching.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you, Evelia, because I have a heart for women because I too have had my ups and downs and struggles. And at one point, successful women really, I was very insecure in that because I hadn't grown enough or really heard enough stories to know that it's okay to feel the way I felt. I just needed the support. So Mom Talk is definitely a way for other women to feel that too. So Velia, let's start with your family. I know you have 3 amazing boys, you have an incredible husband, and you also have your mom and your mother-in-law living with you as well. And they're not, they're still young. They're 92 and 88. But I would just love for you to share with everybody a little bit about your family, and yeah, that would be great.
Okay, well, awesome. I have been married for almost 22 years now to the love of my life. Some of you may know him, Evelia Arriaza. And we have 3 sons, Fabian, who just turned 18, Isaiah, who's 12, and Elijah, who is 10. And we like to say we have 5 kids. We always joke. We say we have 3 boys and 2 girls because we take care of my mother, who's 92, and my mother-in-law, who's 88. And we also take care of my father-in-law, but he lives around the corner in his own apartment. He's 80 years old, but thank God, not on one medication and strong and healthy and vibrant. And I'm sure a lot of that comes. He has a phenomenal attitude about life. That's where Louis gets a lot of his really good energy from. I think he inherited that from his dad. And so it's a really crazy household. And we have three dogs, 3 pod sons. It's King. King is a husky. And we have 2 Rottweilers, Prime Time and Touchdown. We are obsessed with football in this house. I'm so happy that I like football because otherwise it would be torturous for me. My husband just built a football field off to the side of our house. Now, it's not a full 100-yard football field, but it's about 40 yards. It's good enough for the kids to practice and and it's padded. So yesterday I actually had the courage. We were playing on there because I'm like, okay, if these kids ram me, it's okay. It has 3-inch padding. Nothing's going to happen. And so our life is very dynamic, just like I'm sure the life of many of the women you see. My life consists of being, first and foremost, a wife, a mother, and a caretaker. I think that's a lot of things that people don't know, that I do a lot of things that no one, that most people my age don't do, or that, because, I was born when my mother was 47 years old. I'm the youngest of 7 children. I was a complete surprise. My mother was almost 5 months pregnant and didn't know it. She
Oh,
thought she was
wow.
Yeah, she thought, so ladies, be careful, okay? She thought she was going through menopause, and the only symptom she had was her knee was hurting really bad. So she went to the doctor, and they're like, "Ma'am, you're pregnant." And she's like, "What? What?" Yeah, and so she went. So here I came, and so that's why my mom is so much older, because she had me at 47, and thank God she's pretty self-sufficient. But my mother-in-law has had some challenges, and she has a little bit of dementia and a lot of fear of getting up because she fell, and so there's a lot of caretaking that's entailed in taking care of someone who's basically bedridden. And I did it for 24 years with my dad. My dad was paralyzed when I was 13 years old. And he lived that way for 24 years, and we had to do everything for him, feed him, change him. He wore a diaper. It was like having a baby at home, but a big one. And so for me, what I love about my business, about my profession that I could do at home, that I think is relevant to moms, is that I don't have to choose whether I'm going to build a profession or care for my family. Not to say that it's perfect. It's never perfect. Not to say that it's not stressful. And, there's actually not many. There's actually probably like twice a year where I also sorry for myself. I throw my own pity party and invite myself. and I'll be like, oh, this is hard. This is hard. I don't know if any of you have ever not just taking care of your children, but taking care of someone who depends on you physically for everything they need. And I have, thank God, the resources, the finances where I could pay someone to do it, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe in putting my parents or my in-laws in a convalescent home. Not that if you do, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not what's correct for me and my family. And I also don't want to pay someone to take care of my mom and my mother-in-law 24 hours a day. I want to be part of their care. I want them to know that they're loved and appreciated, and that everything they've done for me, and my mother-in-law raises amazing man that's now my husband. I get to reap the benefits of all of her sacrifice. And so it's crazy. Sometimes I want to just sit down and read a book. Like, reading a book for me is not, like, usually not an option. So I do books on audio, right? Because there's no excuses, ladies. We always have to do things to build ourselves up. And if you don't have the money to buy a book on audio, because I know I was there was a time where I couldn't afford the $14.99 for an audiobook. There's something called YouTube. You could get a degree on YouTube nowadays for free. For free.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we are a very blessed family. And because our mothers live with us, everyone comes here. Every single party is here. Every Sunday, there's someone. We come home and people are always here because they come to visit our moms. Yeah. So there's no such thing as privacy in our home, ever.
Well, I think you're entitled to, at least, you said like twice a year you feel like you have a pity party.
Yeah.
You give out so much, Evelia, that that's just a lot of love. So no doubt that you have to recharge your batteries. And I know you
Thank
surround
you.
yourself with incredible women, and your husband too is a fantastic support for you as well. So yes, it's
Yes.
hard work what you decided to do, but it's coming from the heart. And I believe, from what I know of you, that's 100% how you do everything, is from the heart. So
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
So a little bit about your history. It's about 24 years in holistic health related businesses and training. I know you and your husband have had 7 very successful chiropractic clinics, and then you were very a huge, well, you were a really big part of formulating the True to Life product line that now is a
Mm-hmm.
part of longevity, and which I'm on day 15 of the cleanse, actually. Um,
Oh,
no, day
yay!
16.
Today, good for you. Today's my day one.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations for being here on day one. Because I remember my day one. So,
it's
yeah,
day two that gets a little weird.
well, that's true. Actually, yeah, day one's kind of like half, and then, yeah, day two was crazy. I
Mm-hmm.
could not believe what came out of me.
But so worth it. So worth
It
it.
is. Oh my gosh, I feel incredible. So tell us a little bit about your passion for the health industry and what it's done for you and your family.
Okay, well, I was, raised by a very traditional, old-fashioned Mexican mother. So growing up, when something hurt, um, when we had a cold, we weren't given medication. I was given a tea. She'd go
Hmm.
outside and cut something, rub something on me. And so I grew up in a very holistic manner. My mother never cooked out of cans or bags or boxes, not because she like thought it was unhealthy, but just because she thought that's not how you really cook. That's not real cooking. And so I grew up in a holistic environment without really knowing it, just kind of by
Hmm.
default, by being raised by a woman who grew up on a ranch and followed those traditions. And so then I grew up and I meet my husband, right? I met Louis when I was 20. I was still really young. And he starts telling me about chiropractic and the philosophy of chiropractic. And it's a lot more than just having back pain, right? That's kind of like
Hmm.
not even what it's
Absolutely.
mainly about.
Yeah,
And a lot of
absolutely.
people don't know. And, the founder of chiropractic and or the promoter, his son, BJ Palmer, he talked about what so many doctors are talking about now, like Dr. Caroline Leaf, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. DeMartini, all of this neuroscience. BJ Palmer was talking about innate intelligence and the power that made the body heals the body. Uh, 60 years ago, right? There was nothing new. And so Lewis has always been, on our first date, Lewis read to me the 15 principles of chiropractic. All of the principles of chiropractic,
Really?
right? And he wanted me to learn them. Yes, he did. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
that it fascinated me and it made sense to me because I grew
Hmm.
up not understanding all that, but it just made sense with what I knew and how I understood the body worked. And so then that evolved to us we got married and then I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I decided, we decided, we wanted to have home births. And I had a midwife and her name is Lori Walker. She's amazing. She's my birthing angel. She helped me catch all three of my sons. And, my children have never been immunized.
Hmm.
The only time, my kids don't know what a shot is and my kids don't know what drugs are. The only one that knows is Fabian because he broke his arm. So we gave him pain, at the hospital. We're not going to rub
Hmm.
vitamin C on his, on his arm when it's
Yeah.
broken. And,
Yeah.
and so that evolved us into we had 7 very successful chiropractic offices. And that led us into formulating the liver detox formula because a lot of people would come in with back pain and it would very often be radiating pain that came from their gallbladder.
Hmm.
And the gallbladder is
Wow.
just the wingman of the liver. And
Yeah.
second to the brain, the liver does most of the work. I'm not going to give you, an anatomy class, but and bore you people with it.
Yeah.
But the liver is very important.
Not
And
boring.
so we started to see the correlation between overall health, including chronic pain, with the liver. And so we formulated this formula with scientists and people who were experts in it. And so I learned a lot, like I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I've just been around them for over
Hmm.
20 years. So kind of, you start learning
Oh
things.
yeah, you learn it. For sure you
You
do.
learn, yeah, you couldn't pay me to go to medical school or like, that's too much science for me. Oh, no
Yeah.
way, that's too much science. But
Yeah.
I've learned a lot and it's a lifestyle. So that the liver detox formula is what led us to join forces with longevity, which
Hmm.
has, been the biggest, not just business blessing in our life, but I think also we have so many friends like you and
Yeah.
all over the world. It's just magnificent.
Hmm.
I was born for network marketing. I really was.
Hmm.
And I just didn't know. But everything from being a baby to how I was raised to marrying the man, right? God knew this man who's passionate about natural health,
Hmm.
to formulating this product. We never intended to do any of that. It just organically
Hmm.
happened because we were driven by purpose and passion. and it led us to where we are today.
That's awesome. I actually remember when you and Louis first came to Youngevity. I remember you being on stage and they were doing the interview, like it was a game show, and you guys had
Oh,
to um, answer each other's questions, like how well do you know your husband and wife? I
hmm,
remember that. It was quite funny. It was great.
that was a fun game.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
Yes.
So, well, we all appreciate you guys joining forces with Youngevity because, like I said, I'm on day 16 of the liver cleanse, and it is incredible how well I feel. My husband's on it as well, and
Okay.
our second day, like literally, I could not believe the stones that came out of us. It was
Hmm.
I wasn't brave enough to take pictures like the people
Like
had,
some of
but
us. Uh-huh.
yeah, but I definitely shared what it could look like if I did share. But anyhow,
Yes, and and I noticed that your skin looks really radiant, and I was gonna say something, and then I'm like, and I'm not gonna say anything because there wasn't like space to say it, but just ladies that you're watching, and I know I am 45 years old. I just turned 45 this week. Not this week, this month, and it is important. And we start
hmm
noticing that the skin is starting to change, and
hmm
collagen is produced in the liver, so it doesn't matter
yeah,
how many lotions we put on or even the collagen supplements we take. The way to have the most collagen resurge in your body is to purge your liver. There you go.
yeah,
So
yeah,
cleaning your liver is the best thing you could do for your skin.
yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely feel it, and I do feel it in my skin. So yeah, that makes sense. So that's awesome.
Hmm.
Now, I would love for you to talk about more than high heels because I know that is a huge um, heartfelt mission that you're on. And I love that title, More Than High Heels, because we are
Thank
more than high
you.
heels. So I would love to hear more about how that started and what is it that you do within More Than High Heels.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the name, just like I think, just like everything fantastic that has created in my life, like I'm not smart enough to think about it. It just organically happens. Um, of course, it doesn't just happen, right? But it's like
hmm
we always do things in our lives that lead us to a point, and nothing's a coincidence. I think coincidence is just God's way of gently reminding us that He's in charge and
hmm
not us. And
Absolutely.
so More Than High Heels started actually with a terrible story. It was my best friend, and I'll say her name because so many of you know her, Cynthia Flores,
hmm Yeah.
who is just recently pregnant with twins. We're so
I know,
excited.
that's exciting.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes, and so she was married before, and her husband betrayed her. She was helping a friend of hers that was going through a divorce, and she took her into her home, and her friend ended up leaving with her husband. And long story short, Cynthia obviously was broken into 1,000 pieces. And during her healing journey, she went to a spiritual retreat. And at this retreat, it dealt with being at the hinds feet of Jesus. And they had high heels in the centers of the tables, and everything dealt with high heels. She called me from this retreat to encourage me. Okay, supposedly to encourage me because I was doing weekly leadership calls with my team. And it was something that I would always tell her, you know what, I'm not going to do them because like Lewis does so many conference calls already, and there's leadership coming out. I mean, Lewis doesn't even have to talk, and he like, you know, leadership comes out of his pores, right? I'm like,
hmm
why am I doing this?
Yes.
And so she called me to tell me you need to keep doing it because you're a woman and the energy is different and the way it comes off is different, and we need to keep hearing you. Like you cannot stop doing these calls for us. And so she called me for that. And then I'm asking her about the conference, and she starts falling apart on me, talking about, of course, she's about the whole conference, but she's really crying because of what had happened to her. And then the fact that there was high heels in all the tables reminded her that her ex-husband took a bin that had all of her favorite shoes in it. And she says, can you believe he even took my favorite heels? And I bet you she's wearing them because she wears the same size. And I'm like, just stop it. She wouldn't stop crying. I'm like, you need to stop crying. Get a hold of yourself. I said, you know what? When you come back home, I am going to take you and buy you more expensive, better heels than the ones he took. Don't you worry about that. Because she had no money, left her broke. I mean, everything, even took all the supplements. And so I was telling her, you need to stop crying. I said, remember who you are. I said, you are more than those heels. You are more than those high heels. And I kept repeating it to her in Spanish. And then I thought, oh, wait, that sounds really good. You know, like it was like, I'm like, that has a good ring to it. And then I thought, how do you say that in English? And so then that was what it is. Because I was telling her, tú eres más que esos tacones. And that means more than high heels. And so that's how the name came about. And so we started calling my weekly conference calls More Than High Heels, a More Than High Heels call. And then the women, my friends and the women in my team were saying, why don't we have a conference, a women's conference and a More Than High Heels conference? So then we had a conference and 300 women showed up. Like we really couldn't even house all the women we wanted. We couldn't fit. We sold out. We did it another year. We sold out again. And so every time I wanted to stop doing it, because I'm like, Lord, like, why are you calling me to do this? Like, I don't need another hobby. I got a lot of things going on. I don't need to be doing this. And he would keep reminding me, keep putting women in my life that are saying, like what you're saying, we need to hear each other's stories and we need to empower each other and form a sisterhood. And also for us, if you're interested, help strengthen each other in building a business. And how do you build a business amongst all the other things that we have going on? And so it led to that. And then 3 years ago, I felt like I wanted to know, and I wanted to touch people I didn't even know that I would never meet. Because I really think that when you do something for someone that you never will know, that's when you're really, truly, truly like giving. Because you're never going to receive something back in the tangible way, not even a thank you. And so we decided to partner with anti-human trafficking organizations. We did 2 walks for H21 campaign and raised money and rallied and organized. And then this last year, we partnered with Zoe International because I met the founders, and my dear friend, Pastor Virginia, is working with them on starting a orphanage in Oaxaca to try to get to the kids before the cartels get to them. Because once the cartels get a hold of the kids, it is just really hard to take them away, to rescue them. It's done and it's possible, but it's really hard, not just in the damage that has been done in trying to restore the lives of these young children, but also like they risk their lives. There's people like what I do, spreading the voice, selling t-shirts, assembling people, doing walks. That's easy because there's people on the streets risking their lives, messing with the cartel's money. This is like serious drug, you know. Human trafficking is the biggest crime in the world. It's the fastest growing crime in the world. The cartels have figured out they can make more money and go through less danger, stealing the kids, and they put them in working rings, and then they prostitute them, and then they kill them and sell their organs in the black market.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's terrible. So this orphanage in Oaxaca that we're working hard to fundraise to build is so that we could get to the kids before the cartels do, because in Oaxaca there's a lot of ignorance. 27 dialects are spoken, so it's super easy to confuse people, and there's just a lot of evil going on. And so parents will sell their kids for $10. There's a group over there. There's a woman who I'm gonna go meet, who she teaches other women how to grow coffee, and so that they could generate income, so that their families won't sell them, because they'll sell them for a cow. Like they'll come and say, I'll give you a cow for your daughter, and they sell the daughter away. And so this woman is empowering women, and like they tried to kill her, they burned down her crops, and she doesn't stop. She doesn't stop, and she tells women, you're more than a cow. And so my friend told me about her. She's like, she's like you telling women you're more than high heels. And I know it sounds funny, but for them it's a reality. How do you show you have more value than a cow? And so that's what More Than High Heels is in the summary. And we do a lot of other little things in the middle, but that's like our big project in the coming years. I know it takes a lot of money to build an orphanage, but I know that God's going to see us through it. And I know that a lot of people are going to partner with us. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I figure out ways to enterprise and make money for this. So so that's what we do. And my underlying goal is just to see women thrive, to see women live purpose-filled lives, to see women have joy in their lives, whatever that may mean. Because as women, we often hear, oh, you can have it all. And you're like, yeah, I believe I can have it all. And I really believe that, because you're usually, I was raised that you usually have to choose whether you're going to have a career, or you're going to have a family,
Yep.
or you're going to be happy, but like you can't have all of that together. And I'm giving proof that that's a lie. That's all a lie. You could have all of it together. Maybe
Yes,
not all at the
absolutely.
same time. And maybe the all that you want is not what God wants for you. So sometimes I think maybe that's where people's frustration comes.
Yes.
And then maybe having it all, like, what does that really mean, having it all? I think it's an individual thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
It's all different.
it's all different. And nor do I think, like I say, you could have it all, but it's almost like an overwhelming statement at the same time. When I say that, I don't mean that you should want it all either, because maybe some women, like, there's nothing like saying, okay, I stay home and I care for my family and my children. And that's a lot of work. Like, I think it's funny when people say, do you work? They ask a woman if she works. I'm like, the better question is, like, do you work out of your home as you work in your home? And so whatever that is for each individual person, that she finds her purpose, and feeling good about it, and feeling fulfilled, and we have different seasons in our lives, right? And so these things are changing. And so that's really the goal of More Than High Heels. Just to see women
Absolutely.
connected and unashamed and unbroken. You know, so many women are broken, and we're so scared to talk about it, and we're so
Absolutely.
afraid to say the truth. And someone's always better than us. Someone's always prettier than us. You know, I mean, someone's always thinner than me, right? That's like, it's just, there's always someone, something. And it's just about enjoying the moment. Life is so short. And
Absolutely.
if I could speak life into one woman, I'm so passionate about this, because I saw my mother raise 7
Yeah.
children, take care of my paralyzed father for 24 years. And I saw her play small all her life, because she felt it was what's best for everybody else. And I don't want to see that happen to someone else, because my
Yeah.
mom has so much greatness in her that she never expressed, that
Yeah.
she poured all her love into my siblings and myself, right? And so I feel like a responsibility to express that, because I saw her play so small. And just because no one ever believed in her, no one ever told her you could. No one ever told her it's
Absolutely.
possible. Yeah. So that's
I,
what More Than
I,
High Heels.
yeah, I agree. A lot of women do sit back in the shadows and not go after the potential that they have. That's exactly one of the reasons why I started a program here in Ontario called Women Speak, and it is a program where women come and find that truth, that voice that's inside them, so that they could speak it out and give them a platform to practice and learn how to do it. So, yeah, I
That's
totally
wonderful.
agree.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
So, Avelia, before we go, you've already like added so much value. You're just pouring it on everybody right now. But
Oh,
before we
thank you.
go, is there anything else that you wanted to share that maybe if there's a mom listening that, when they get off this, they're like, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So maybe there's just something inside right now that you possibly want to share. I'm not really sure, but is there anything you want to leave with everybody?
Yeah, we often hear that we are enough, right? It's like what the women empowerment movement is something that's very much alive, and where we've taken a seat at the table, right? And all of these things, and Hollywood. This was like the year of the woman, 2018. It really was globally.
Yeah.
Women in Afghanistan were able to drive. All these fantastic things are happening all over the world, but I feel that a lot of women still at their core don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe
Mm-hmm.
that, because we've been programmed unconsciously since even before we were little girls. This is the scary part, when we were in our mother's womb. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all epigenetics, right? The programming,
Yeah.
the genetic
Oh, I
codel
completely agree with that.
that starts happening, that science proves, and that the Bible verifies, right? We
Mm-hmm.
talk about generational curses. There's also generational blessings. And so for
Mm-hmm.
you ladies that are watching, and men, because we're
Mm-hmm.
all human beings, and it's
Yeah.
all the same. And yes, I have a heart to see women thrive, but it's not like I don't want men to thrive. I do too, right? It's
Yeah.
just, I just have a
Absolutely.
specific niche, right? That
Yeah.
God has put my heart on.
Yeah.
but it's like really like feeling that we're not enough, or knowing that we have all these things that we want to change, or all these things that we want to do, but we're not willing to look inside of ourselves. We're not willing to deal with the ugly, and we have to be willing to deal with the ugly, because otherwise we're never gonna break free. And we have to okay, so this is how I was raised, this is what my parents told me, this is what my grandparents told me, or I was abandoned, or I was abused. And those are all terrible, real things that you should be sad about and angry about, but just not anymore. You know, you can't grieve about something forever, especially something that you wasn't even your fault. It wasn't your fault.
Absolutely.
Like, my father was an
Yep.
alcoholic. That was not my fault. His, you know, the way I see it is that his victories, that's my legacy. His bad decisions, those are my lessons, and that is it. They don't belong to me. I didn't make those decisions, nor am I willing to say that genetically I'm predisposed to be an alcoholic because my father was. That's a bunch of BS. I don't believe, you know, I don't believe in that spiritually, and epigenetics is teaching us that that's also a lie, that we could change that. And so for you, lady, I would hope that you would take the time to really look at yourself and deal with whatever it is that's holding you back, and ask God to help you lift it. And there's YouTube where you could, you know, I recommend, like the doctors I mentioned earlier, Dr. Caroline Leaf, Dr. DeMartini, Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's so many amazing things that'll help you change the programming of our brains, that'll help us understand why it is that we're thinking a certain way. Because the empowerment and the feel good is, and even in the Christian community, prayer, knowing that God can do all things. But okay, so what does that mean, and how does that manifest in reality in my life? Like a lot of women believe that, but they believe it's true for like their neighbor or their sister, you know. Yeah, God forgave me, but I'm not too sure God could do a work in me because I'm not that worthy, or my sin is too big. It's not. And I just hope, but we can't get to that point if we're not willing to look at what makes us hurt. I mean, I have laid on my closet floor crying like a baby, and you think, gosh, Evelia, like, you have this fantastic life, and I do, and you know what, and I deserve it, and I've worked for it, because I've dealt with a lot of things in my life, and I've cried out to God. You know, I'm a Christian, but if you're not, whatever that may mean to you, and I hope that you could have that feeling that I have, where it's like, okay, let's deal with this, and let's learn how we could get past it, right? And then there's a lot of authors like Rachel Hollis, who's super fun. Read the book Girl Wash Your Face, because she's comical, but she talks a lot about these things in a very lighthearted, easy to accept, fun to hear way. So that's what I like to say to women. Like, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
Absolutely.
It's gonna
Yep,
hurt.
I've been there too.
And you know, suck it up and get it done, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else. And God could do it for you, but he'll never do it without you. So you need to make sure that you get on that train.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, life is too short, ladies. You're going to continue living a life of quiet desperation. And I don't want that for you. And I know you don't want that for you. So remember, you're more than high heels.
Absolutely. See, guys, I told you this was going to be a phenomenal interview, because Evelia just shares love everywhere she goes. It doesn't matter where she is. You're going to get value from her, her and her husband. I've seen Louis on here. And he's like, don't stop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not reading any comments. I don't be distracted.
Yeah. No. That's why occasionally, like, you see me like smile, and I might not be at the right moment, but I'm reading the comments come through.
Reading the comments. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and read them. Yes, and if anybody wants to connect with More Than High Heels, we're on Facebook. We have a page called More Than High Heels, and also on Instagram. I've never given it effort. Like on social media, I've never given High Heels intentional effort, other than women pulling me, and I'm saying, okay, we're gonna do this, and my heart to help in human trafficking. And so, but this year we're coming up with some social media campaigns. And so thank you for following the pages. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Evelia. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for Mom Talk. This has been a wonderful time with you all. And Evelia, enjoy the rest of your day with your family. And I look forward to, I will see you in September, but until then, I'll see you on social media.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for doing this for all of
Oh,
us.
no, it fills my heart to do this too because I love to get the stories out there. So,
Wonderful. Well,
yeah.
God bless all of you. Have a great
Thank you.
day.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.